just think of our shortest episode ever, where we turned it on. I said my
You,
piece, you laughed. I said my piece, you turned it off.
that was what I wish we. It's just a testament to, like, we're just happy being creators. We're happy to put the content out there. Happy to have the conversation. I wish, though, something like that. I wish I could just, like, oh yeah, man, season 8, episode 3. I remember that we talked and talked and talked. We had the best pod ever, and then we decided to start to record it. Because it's like, and I can remember that. Let's go live for 2 seconds, and you're like, okay, let's do it. And we're off it. We're on and off. And this was episode whatever. I think that's what he's like. You're like, hey, Clough. I'm like, hey, Chids. Did you even do the this is and this was?
Yeah, that's all we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, well, we might as well just hit start. I
Mm-hmm.
hit start. I said season whatever, episode whatever. I said this is, and then I said this was, and then boom, we turned it off.
Great example of James Clear's 2%. I mean, 2-minute rule. Just like, if you can do it under 2 minutes, just get it done. So I'm guessing probably that's a 2-minute episode. Us logging in, addressing the room, and then, like, we're out.
Well, this is season 9, episode 11, 359 of the Decoded podcast. Since we talked about that 2-minute thing,
season 9, episode 11, number 359.
What did I say?
Season 9, episode 359, which will be pretty epic.
Season 9, episode 11, number 359.
There we go. There you go. I'll go.
AI. Did you hear Roland say that? Since you and I talked about the 2-minute thing, I've been on fire with it. On fire. And I'm not sticking to 2 minutes, but
it's tough and fire.
Somebody will say, hey, I have a question, or can you do me a favor and get me? And as they're asking me what to get, I'm on my laptop listening to them and getting it. Because, like, the child and youth care worker would be like, I need to talk to Jimmy. Can you please get me his schedule and email it to me? And by the time we're done our interaction, I'm like, it's done. She's like, what do you mean it's done? I'm like, it's in your inbox. It's done. And then a couple of hours later, she'll say, do you remember? And I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. She's like, do you remember? I'm like, what are you talking about? Because that's how I'm operating in this new job. I'm told do this or do that, or I need to do things, and then I just do them. So my favorite line is when somebody says to me, if a VP says, hey, Roland, when was the last time you talked to Jimmy? I'm like, I don't know. Give me a second. And I go to the computer, and then I go to my sent box in my email, put in Jimmy's name. Boom. I'm like, yesterday afternoon, I contacted the teachers about Jimmy. I couldn't find him yesterday. They're like, okay, thanks. He's here today. Can I send him up to you? Yeah, no problem. Or somebody will say, can you? And I'm like, put it in an email. If I don't have my book, I have a book that I write everything in. If I don't have my book to write it in, email me, or it's not happening. And I'm very good now at saying that to people. I'm like, email me. Or I'm like, hold on. And they're looking at me like, what the? And I go grab my book, open it, and start writing. What do you need? Because then when I'm done doing it, I go back to the book, I scratch it off, and I write done, and I put the date or the time that it was done. So it is hilarious at this point in my career when someone says, did you? I need to check my book or my email.
I had a dark side moment and a follow-up dark. No, it's not dark side. I got to figure out a better term for this. The bug, let's say the bug, I need to debug my system, that I have gone, okay, so you see something that can take 2 minutes to do. It doesn't, good morning, Rochelle, good morning. It doesn't mean to rush it. Good morning, Gary. I think that's the key. Just because the job is like a 2 to 5 minute job, it actually doesn't mean to rush it. Because when you rush it, you turn that 2 to 5 minute job into a 20-minute or a 30-minute fix when you do it wrong. And that's what that's the thing I want to add into this James Clear mindset. is that even if you do notice, and I use the example, if I simplify it really down, I've always used this example of, in my kitchen, if I walk out of my kitchen, I inevitably will walk past the door that leads to my garage. So that's just, I can't avoid that. It is right there. So if there's a Coke can or recycling on the counter, by me leaving the kitchen, I am actually now in the space. I don't care whose stuff it is. I don't care whose stuff it is. I will pick it up. I will take it. Like any one of the four people in this house could have left something on that counter. I will pick it up. I will walk and toss it in the recycle. Open the door, toss in the recycle. So here's the efficiencies that I've noticed in this. There's mental efficiencies. And there used to be a time where I would see that on the counter and I would notice it as a 2-minute job. But I would think to myself, I need to go tell somebody else to put it away. Waste of time. For me, waste of time. I'm no longer doing that. I'm no longer landing on who needs to do this. I'm taking it personally. I'm like, I need to do this because I noticed it. I'm going to take care of it. I'm going to figure out the other conversation later who I need to address this with. So that's the first thing. The second thing that I've noticed is that sometimes if I'm not self-regulated, as in I notice the job, I will take shortcuts doing the job. So it's not that it's a 2-minute job that you can do with shortcuts. It's actually that you have the skills, and admit it to yourself, you have the skills to get this done in 2 minutes. Here's the bug in my system. So I pick up the recycling, I walk over, I open up the door, and I toss it into the dark, hoping that I'm going to hit the recycle bin. If I don't hear it hit the recycle bin or get in the recycle bin, because we know that sound, the sound of the pop can hitting the edge of the recycle bin and then it hits the floor in the garage. I've just created a job that is no longer 2 minutes long because now I got to go back. Because ideally, opening that door, if I don't have to turn on the light, I can toss it. I hear it hit the recycle bin. I close the door. I go boom, 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 boom. Fluid, right? It's beautiful. If I rush that and I don't do the proper shot, I don't make sure I hear it hit the garbage can, I'm the one that has to take out the garbage. That's one of my jobs, recycling garbage. So what that means is I'm having to do extra cleanup on a Wednesday morning, eating away, turning that 2-minute job into sometimes a 10, 15-minute fix. Because now I'm going to search for that pop can that fell off somewhere underneath, a table in my garage. So that's the two things that I've kind of noticed. One, making sure, like, not wasting time is whose job is this? If I notice it, it's become my job in some way. The second part, do it right. Don't rush it. Do not rush it. If it's a 2-minute job, you're going to do the fullest 2-minute job possible. If it's a 5-minute job. And I think the third thing I've realized is that his idea of the 2-minute job, everyone's number is a little bit different. I like his 2-minute job. Do it right away. It's a good way for me to talk to my students as well, help them see how you can actually maximize your experiences in the day by sort of even looking at that. Because it could be a 2-minute job, as in have that conversation with that person. Don't wait. You know what? Eat half your sandwich now. You got 2 minutes. Take a few bites. You actually can do it. Check your voicemail. Checking voicemail for me is a brand new skill that I didn't have before. I had the skill. I didn't have the habit. I now have the habit. I love it. I now know I have I have found the 2-minute pocket in my day to check my voicemail. And the irony to it is that this school year I've consistently mastered the habit. The time frame that I check it is just before the announcements. I did habit stacking to get there because I always stand by the door anyways, just before the national anthem starts. So I'm monitoring the halls. Right to my right is the phone on the wall. So as I'm standing there sipping my coffee in my left hand, I got my coffee in my face, I'm checking the hallway. And with my right hand, I pick up the phone. I do star 98, which takes me to the voicemail, then my code. And I just stand there. I look out at the hall, voicemail, put it back in there. 2-minute job. I love it. So yeah, don't blame anyone. Do the job right. And recognizing that a 2-minute job is kind of in air quotes. Could be 5-minute, but I have come back to it's quite amazing what you can get done in 5 minutes if you successfully master the first two things. I think you have to do the first two things in order to land on. It's quite remarkable what you can get done. I dig it.
Well, it's I dig it too. I appreciate your position on
You're muted. I can see on my side you're muted.
I played
There we go.
my mouse and then I got this signal that I was muted. I was like, "What? I never muted myself."
Well
Anyway,
done.
thanks, mouse. I was I have I just it's on the radar and it brings me some joy when someone says, "Hey, Roland, I got a question for you," and then it turns into they need me to look into something or provide them with information, and I just say to them, "Well, I'm going to do it right now," and they
Mhm.
will look at you strange, like, "What? Really?" I'm like, "Yeah. What am I waiting for?" And my new thing at work is there's always something that pops up that nobody can predict. This is part of the work I do. It just there are some there are some predictable parts in my day, and there's a lot of unpredictable. It just yesterday. So I've been working like a fiend this week. All my time has been most of my time has been effectively. Yesterday, I get
So there's something swirly and weird about your audio.
oh
I'm
man,
not. You're. It's. I don't know. It sounded a little bit like it was going underwater. How does mine sound?
good.
Sounds okay. Yeah, you're. It's kind of. We've experienced this before. The underwater effect.
Is it back or no?
Well,
Still
your
underwater.
audio was there. Your audio was there.
But how's
It
the
was
underwater?
always. I'll do this. If
What about now?
yeah, I mean, it's crisp now. It was
Oh,
sort of, it wasn't fully. You would just be talking, and then
oh,
it
in the
kind of,
middle of
and then
talking.
it would, yeah, you'd come up, for air, and it'd be clear again. You go back underneath again. So,
Yesterday, working away.
mhm,
I'm doing well with the predictables.
mhm.
Get an email. I
I
got,
like that, the predictables.
yeah, the predictables all under control. Um, a peachy keen, and then I get the email from guidance. I've got an OSR for you. There's an IEP in it. Fucking head explodes because I'm like, oh Nikes, this could be this could be a 10-minute fix, or it could be a week-long thing.
Mhm.
So I'm like, okay, march down to guidance and get that OSR now. There's no reason to wait. I got nothing else to do. The predictables are under control. I love this. This one counselor's like, I just sent you the email. I'm like, yeah, what am I waiting for? He laughs, gives me the OSR. I'm like, I always ask him, did you look at it? And he just kind of looks at me like, I saw that there was an IEP, but I didn't delve into it. So it's funny because he does all his he does his guidance stuff with the OSR. And he's just like, "Oh, I see an IEP, call Roland." And I'm like, "Did you look at the IEP?" He's like, "No, that's not what I do." Just like you don't do what I do. You just look at your IEP. So anyway, look at the IEP, Gong Show IEP. It's gonna be a week's worth of meet with the kid, send home consent for this, do that, do this. So I got a big smile on my face because I'm like, the predictables are under control. It's Friday, so I'm gonna do what I can with this OSR and this IEP. I got to do what I need to do now so that make sure that the kid is supported. Other than that, though, I have to wait on other people. Well, I can't control other people. But anyway, so yeah, the predictables and the unpredictables, there's always an unpredictable thrown at me. And like I said, I hear the word new OSR. It could literally be I could put my head down and focus for an hour and it'll be all under control. Or it's going to take a week to just deal with humans and the time that they take and the unpredictables that come with them because they're not all going to operate the same way.
Mhm.
And then I wanted to say I started my new supervision yesterday and I
Oh
love
my gosh. Oh my god. Oh, that thing.
so I heard
The you got my. Did you hear my polo?
I did hear your polo and I had a big
Oh,
smile the whole time, man.
I just, I just, I
So
just.
can I tell you okay, this can I have some fun with this?
Yes, I would love. I love fun. Do it.
Okay. So started my new supervision yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So my first supervision this year was, and Rochelle, try not to get too mad at me because my wife was ready to kill me when I was like, "Oh, I've got supervision this semester," and she's like, "Uh-huh," and, and I'm like, "Yeah, one." So my new supervision is once a week for 20 minutes. So Rochelle is just tossing her hard drive out the window right now, right? Because Rochelle probably has 15 minutes every day. But anyway, and then there's rain stuff and all that, and we don't do that in high school. So anyway, my new supervision, I'm outside. I'm outside again. I don't know why they keep putting me outside. I'm outside in the back parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked the VP, what does that entail? And she told me, well, walk the sidewalk from the gym to this corner, keep your eye on this, keep your eye on that. No problem. I go to the office, I get the clipboard, I get my radio, and I go outside. And it was nice. It was relatively quiet, and it's funny, I got to talk to students out there that I never get to talk to in the building because everybody's in a different spot all day long or whatever. So that was kind of cool. And I discovered, so the person coming to replace me, I did the first 20 and then somebody's coming in to do the second 20. So I look at my watch and it's like 2 minutes past my time. So I'm like, okay. So I walk over to the door where I think this person's going to come out. At 5 minutes, the person comes out. And I looked at him, I said, man, and I like this. We get along, me and this other teacher. And I'm like, man, what's going on? Like 5 minutes? Are you effing serious? And he goes, I'm sorry. I went to the office to get the clipboard and the radio. I said, well, that doesn't make sense because I'm the first one on. So you're going to return the clipboard and the radio. I'm the one that brings it out. Because that's not how it worked. That's not how it's worked in my experience before. Sometimes people, they just leave their, so this is what I've discovered in high school. When teachers' time is up, they leave their post. They leave their post, they go back to the office, they drop everything off, and then they go do whatever. Having been trained as an elementary school teacher, supervision is a non-negotiable thing. If I'm outside and someone's supposed to relieve me, I do not leave. I do not leave until somebody comes out and takes over. That's how I was trained in elementary. In high
Mm-hmm.
school, they're like, no, bro, your time comes to an end. You're free to go. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like literally, I just always stare at them like, what?
Mm-hmm.
So he comes out and he goes, I'm sorry, Roland. I went to get all the stuff, right? I'm like, okay, this guy's nickname is Boz. So I'm like, Boz, from now on Fridays, you do not have to go to the office. I will be out here with clipboard and radio. He goes, okay. So this is the funny story now. So I said to him, I had my phone out. I was literally emailing you to say, did you forget your supervision? Because I'm sure you'd be sitting in front of a computer doing your prep or whatever. I said to him, I have a story for you, Boz. And I said, you almost entered into this realm, but you haven't. He's like, what's the story? So last year, second semester, I was in the cafeteria. I'm in the cafeteria. My time comes to an end. 5 minutes pass, the other person's not here yet. 10 minutes pass, the other person's not there yet. I'm starting to get annoyed because, yeah, everybody said, just leave. You're done your duty. I'm like, I'm not leaving. This place is full of kids. Nobody's watching them. Something in me says, don't do it. 15 minutes, the guy arrives. He walks and he's like, oh my God, Roland, I am so sorry. I said, stop talking. He stops. I go, I got some questions for you. He goes, okay. I'm like, is your wife okay? And he's like, what? I'm like, just answer the effing question. Is your wife okay? He goes, yeah. I said, so she didn't call with an emergency? He goes, no. I said, are your kids okay? Because I know he has two young kids. He goes, I think so. I'm like, the school didn't call and say there's a problem? He goes, no. Okay. So, okay, family's okay. And I'm like, were you in the bathroom vomiting or with diarrhea? He goes, no. I said, then where the hell were you? Because if your family was in trouble and somebody called, and you got to be late for duty, I get it, bro. Family comes first. Are you feeling okay? He goes, man, Roland, what's your problem? I'm like, my problem is, other than you dying on the toilet or your family, there's an emergency with your family, there is no reason for you to be 15 minutes late. And he goes, why didn't you just leave? I said, because there's 100 kids in here. They watch me walk out. They know it's party time. I'm not doing that. I don't need to get called down by the VP and say, what happened in the the calf? What do you mean what happened? Well, at this time this happened. Well, my duty ended at this time, so I left. I don't think that's going to go over well. I just don't. So now I burst out laughing. I'm like, so you're fine? He goes, I'm fine. I'm like, you fucking owe me huge. This is not cool. He goes, I'm really sorry. Next time I'll come 5 minutes early. And he starts. So I tell Boz. So I'm like, Boz, you okay? He goes, I'm good. My fiance's fine. I don't have any kids. I just I went to the office to pick up the gear because that's how I was trained. I'm like, we're good, bro. He goes, next time I'll come early. I said, no, you don't need to come early. Just get here. I've got the stuff. So there's everybody's looking at me like I'm the weirdo. And I'm like, how do you just leave your post? There's a reason why they have back-to-back supervisions. It's so there's constant supervision. On this first supervision, I got in the way of a couple of cars to be like, slow down, you're going too fast. Just, I felt like being a dick. And then I was counting all the cameras around the building, and smiling because if somebody's like, well, where was Roland? Well, look at the watch, look at the camera. Roland was right there waving at you. I get a kick out of being a dick when it comes to the cameras. So there it is. Rochelle says her first supervision as an unqualified supply, age 19, was the smoke pit at one of our high schools. The good news is the smoke pit is now off property. I'm not leaving property. So they can smoke their guts out off property if they like.
When I first started teaching, like officially, I missed my first week of duties. And I got on the Thursday, almost the first week. I did it on the Friday. The principal, I hadn't really mastered any of the communication logistics. Like my eyes didn't know where to fall. My body didn't know where to be. Yeah, all that. It just it didn't know how to do it. So I was assigned bus duty, and bus duty was, standing out in front of the school. And it was funny because the Thursday, my prep was P4, I think. Was it P4? I forget what period was. So I got called down, and the principal said, and he was very kind. Very, very kind. He's like, okay, walk me through what's going on here. You've been assigned duties this week and you haven't done any of them. I'm like, right. There's other stuff besides teaching I have to do. And I was quite like just frank with them straight up, right? Straight up. Because I still hadn't formalized any of this into an operating system. Everything felt like I was always behind. And I was also teaching culinary. So inherently, in order to be able to get out of a kitchen, like it's not like, okay, everyone put your binders away. We were doing stuff in the kitchen like cooking. So it is put your binders away, but it's also now we have to clean the counters. We have to do the dishes. We have to pack everything up. Like there's stuff in that consolidation stage of a lesson plan in labs that doesn't exist in a like a book-based course. So, I mean, I know we're not just doing book-based courses anymore, but
I know
when you can, yeah, you know what I mean, right? Like when you do a performance-based or a task-based or a kinesthetic-based classroom, cleanup is a part of it. There's very few classrooms that have cleanup as a part of the 3-part lesson plan. But he was very kind, and I was just like, right now, and he still credited me with all the duties for that week, which was but I did get bus duty a few more times, and I had a suspicion that that was his doing, right? That was his doing.
I see what you're saying.
Just as because it is a manageable one, right? Like as opposed to getting on calls. It's funny, on calls get in your way because they all of a sudden appear and you got to do them. Like these sudden, like, yeah, you got to go cover someone's class. But duties, sometimes it's easy to forget. But it's also easy to remember, as long as you put it in your. This is kind of before really we were using digital calendars. And this was before I had a phone that had, I had it all in my pocket, right? Um, as we're talking here, you got me thinking about how you're using email like instant messaging,
Hmm.
right?
Yep.
This isn't like storage. You're not treating email as it'll get there eventually, the person will deal with it eventually. You're using your kind of accelerating this by you like leaning on the notification factor. So the email comes in, you read it. Is this a so rate so I love this. So the unit right now in learning strategies that I'm teaching the kids that we're working through is about study skills, very specific study skills, how to study, and get things done tools. So I just took them through the Eisenhower matrix. And you and I have talked about this in the past. It's the important and urgent matrix. So it's just a 4 quadrant matrix. Is it important? Isn't it urgent? Get it done right now. It's a little bit like the 2-minute rule for James Clear. And then it's important, but not urgent. So that means plan. Put it into a plan. If it's not important, but it's urgent, then sometimes you have to delegate. And then if it's not important, not urgent, get rid of that shit. So it's funny. I like this idea because I like this matrix a lot for students, because often students will say, okay, I know I've got this list of things to do, but I don't even know how to prioritize it. Like they're not actually taught how to look at this list of 3 things, deliverables that they have to take care of in the day. They'll put them in random times, sure. They'll commit to trying to get them done, sure, but they don't often prioritize and say this has more importance than this, so it has to be number 2, but it can't be number 1 because number 1 is this big thing. Like for them to discern which thing it needs to be. So uh you had me thinking about this idea of using email. It is surprising to people when a response to an email happens. The one that I've done that is similar to your experience here, because I'm mobile during my professionally managed time, I'll get the notification. It'll pop up, and I'm in on motion to somewhere else. So this is the recycle. This is grabbing the recycle on the way to the garage kind of mindset. So often it's just kind of happenstance. Like I know I can make a loop of my school in 5 minutes. I know this. That's a good number to know, because at any given point, if I get an email from someone asking me a question and I actually don't want to respond by email, I know that I can pretty much get to them within 5 minutes and have a conversation and be done with it. So a lot of times I get the notification, and even with lag, let's say within a school on the Wi-Fi, there could still be anywhere from 30-second to 1-minute lag. So you put that on there right away. I'm showing up at their door, and they're like, probably what you noticed, the look on their face, like, hello? I'm like, yeah, you sent me a message. And I just started calling them messages, whether it's a text or an email. And I think as soon as when I do that, people kind of realize that for some people, emails can be messages. You can treat it like instant messaging, as opposed to the old school version of email is like paper mail. And eventually people will get to it. Overwhelm still happens because it can have a lot of stuff. But I find being able to knock those quick ones off if I'm in motion it feels so much nicer. I like it.
For
And I
me,
like surprising people too. I take some joy in the surprising people.
I as I was standing there, I could visualize Boz sitting at a computer working. That's what I visualized. Like I never thought that he was in the office looking for the equipment. I just assumed, I assumed he forgot and he was at his computer working. So it would pop up and he'd be like, oh, shoot, I'm supposed to be on duty. But that's what I thought. And
Mhm.
so that vision in my mind helped me stay calm in that, hey, where is this guy? This is my time now, right? um can I share, is there any more we want to talk about supervision? I mean, you don't tell anybody, but I kind of enjoyed the Friday outside in the parking lot
Mhm.
talking to kids and stuff. Like Don't tell anybody, but I did. I enjoyed it. Plus, you know why I enjoyed it a little bit more too? Because my predictables were under control. So it's not like I was standing there thinking, "Oh my God, I still have 10 hours worth of work to do, and I got to mark my e-learning stuff, and I have to call these three kids out to talk about their midterm mark."
Mm,
My predictables were under control, so I was in a good state of, okay, it's Friday afternoon. I'm okay. You know, that works for me. So I'm going to keep that going. Um, there was something that's gone. So I didn't find out. So this late last week we were supposed to get our new duty schedule. It didn't come out until early this week. So I ended up doing on Monday. I did a duty that was never mine to do, but
mm,
there was no new schedule. So again, instead of thinking, oh, that schedule ended on this day, which would be hilarious because if I operated the way that I'm talking about operating, it meant that for 4 days nobody did any duties
mm,
because on this day we were supposed to get a new one. It never came out. Imagine if the whole school's like, oh, the new duty schedule didn't come out, therefore there was no duty. That would just be chaos. So on Monday, I did go back to the library and the kids were like, "What are you doing here? You said you were done." I said, "Well, I'm supposed to be done, but there's no new schedule. So until the new schedule comes out and tells me where I am, I'm right here in your face." And they're all like, "Whoa, Chidiac, relax." And I was having fun with that, right? I said, "So I'm like that the ghost from that movie Christmas Carol or whatever. I'm just gonna come back and haunt you until I'm told to go haunt somebody else." And
mm,
I have rapport now with these kids, so we just laugh or whatever, and then I tell them like, "Hey, put your food away," or I go from being such a nice guy to being such a rule person, but that's my job. So I did that duty, and then the new duty schedule came out, so I didn't have anything till Friday. I had some fun. I had some fun yesterday, fun that I don't normally have at school, but it was fun that gave me a nice feeling between Thursday morning and Friday morning. So I'm going to explain it to you. So as you know, I'm in a monitor room, so it's transient. Kids are always coming in and out, and I don't have my own class, which is fine. But there was a student, there is a student who comes in often, and this student I guess would struggle with regulation and has kind of a negative attitude most of the time. So I'm like the positive to the negative. And I'm the hey, you're dysregulated. What can we do to help you regulate? So the one day last week, the kid was talking about a situation at home. Her best friend comes over every day and they eat snacks and hang out at home. It's what kids do, I guess, right? The student's in grade 11. And the student was telling me that when her friend now has her own snack section in the cupboard. I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, she's brought her own snacks to my house and she keeps them there so that when she's hungry, she doesn't eat our food, she eats her food. I'm like, okay. So she goes, well, she kind of started a fire in my house the other day. And I'm like, what? So she has those little craft dinner containers, you know, the
mhm,
mobile KD, whatever, single servings. She forgot to put water in it, threw it in the microwave. It started on fire. And then the student showed me a picture of the KD outside on the deck and it was like all burnt and everything. So we were kind of having a laugh and I was like, thank God that, your house didn't burn down or whatever. That's like a really good thing. And I'm like, that's kind of strange. Like, these are the types of snacks she has. And she's like, yeah, she's got like the strangest snacks. So I said, wouldn't it be hilarious if, because in my room, there's a snack bin and every morning it's replenished. I said, wouldn't it be hilarious if there was a thing of KD in the snack bin and you tell your friend, hey, there's snacks for you in room 208, snacks that you'll actually eat? Kind of funny. So then she's like, yeah, Mr. C, that is funny. One of us should bring in one of those containers. I said, well, if I'm out at the store or whatever, I'll grab one. I'll pick one up and we'll do the joke on your friend. She's like, okay. So it's kind of in the back of my head. But that night, I took Will to hockey. I went to the dollar store, got a couple of things, and they had those KD things for like $1.50. So I bought one, brought it in Friday, and after they replenished my bin, I took the KD and I put it right in the middle of the bin with granola bars and oatmeal cookies and all kinds of stuff. So we're getting like there's 5 minutes left in the period one. So I call the class and I'm like, hey, can you send so and so to come see me for a couple minutes? They're like, yeah. She walks in the room and she's got this look of death on her face. And I'm like, what's she goes, why'd you call me down? Am I in trouble? I'm like, no, you're not in trouble. Where's your phone? And I said it like that. And then she's like, why do you want my phone? I said, I don't want your phone. I want you to take a picture. And then I point to the snack bin. She's like, oh my God, this is hilarious. So she takes I don't know, a Snapchat or something. She takes a picture, writes a little comment like, hey, there's finally a snack in room 208 you can eat, and sends it to her friend. And we both kind of laughed. And then she left and she's like, what can I take the KD and give it to her? I'm like, yeah, nobody else is going to take it. So that little situation brought me a ton of joy that I don't think I felt at work in a long time, which bothered me because
Mm.
if I'm not feeling that, then what am I feeling on a daily basis? And I think what I'm feeling is it's business all the time. It's get the predictables done. Don't explode when you get an unpredictable and get to work. And it's almost like the F word I don't use. Like, when do I have fun? I don't really. And I've been thinking about that since yesterday. I don't really have fun. I see teachers hanging with other teachers. I don't really have anybody I hang with. I think I was telling Gary this too. I just go and do my job. And then when it's time to go home, I go home. Um, and here and there, there's bits of like, you see a teacher you know and you joke around with them or whatever. But other than that, it's funny. I don't have a, I don't have people. Like, I
Mm.
don't go to somebody's room during my prep and talk about whatever. Prep? Oh, get the predictables done. Lunch? Eat. Get the predictables done. Caseload meeting? Get there, take your notes, get back to work, get the predictables done. Oh, and every now and then use the bathroom. That's important too, right? Anyway, I had some fun. It was fun. I thought it was hilarious. Little things that bring you joy at work.
I I've been observing that as well. The uh it's like it's almost like I'm watching my colleagues, like I'm watching uh animal behavior in a zoo. It just is. So now that I'm not in the community classroom, I am in a space where there's a lot of energy. It's very dynamic. I will say for me, it's more intrusive than useful. And then I just mean if I am in that office, it's because I do have to plunk down and kind of get some paperwork done. I have a good chair, a good desk, I have a good setup there. I have a focused area. Can I always access the focus? No, because it is a hub. It's a hub room. So that means a lot of people come in and out, including students, at any given time. So in order to diffuse the intrusiveness, I have noise canceling headphones that I will put on. And there's been a few times where someone's right up beside me, and it just I kind of cue in. They're like, "We've been calling your name," and it's what makes that interesting, really interesting to me, is the because my brain kind of go because I'll say, okay, yes, yeah, what can I help you? Can I help you out? And I'll give them time. It's the assumption that they have access to me in that way that is fascinating to me. That someone would just be calling my name from across the room. And now again, this is a safe space. It's a workspace. Short of um, I guess someone could argue, but you have to be listening because you might get a phone call. I'm like, well, there's a phone right beside me, and when I do see it flash, the visual cueing, I'll take off one headphone and I'll check to see is anyone because they're office phones, and if no one's moving, I'm like, okay, I'll grab it. I'll grab it. I guess they could say, you've been called on the this messaging, like the PA system, but really during classes it happens pretty rarely, right? They usually try to get those between the bells, like 5 minute travel time between. So again, I'm always fascinated by people that assume they have access to you at any given time. And um, the social interaction in this room, I'm still in this mode of, is it for me? I'm still trying to decide, is it for me? I don't ever go to work hoping to see one of my colleagues. As I say the words out loud, it's all so terrible sounding. I don't
It does
I
sound
don't.
bad.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? And I'm making it. It's not about the colleagues. It's about my mindset. My mind when I'm going into work, I am fixated and comfortable in getting my work done at the highest possible level for the day, and that brings me joy. It actually brings me joy. Um, the predictables, mitigating them. The planables, mapping them, right? The
Mhm.
randoms and the wilds, taking them out at the knees. Like, just that isn't going to happen again. So, when I notice that it seems, it's like where, maybe my something atypical, but I'll say my introverted side, when it looks at, when I use that lens to sort of look at how people interact at school, I can see for some people, they seem to be really dependent on the social element of work. Very dependent, to the point where I watch their patterns and I'm like, yeah, you are showing up every day knowing that you're going to have access to your friends. It's play date mentality or playground mentality, whichever one, at work. And there are people right now that are really, they do a lot of work to sort of keep that play factor up. I do that in my classes. I do it with the kids in the school. I generally don't do it with any of the adults. I'm not interested. It doesn't interest me. Those type of play date things I do outside of work. What I see as my time that's not going to be um, limited by, because what I think of as fun, I can't do at school. I just can't. My ideas of fun. There's too many controls. There's too much oversight. Like just the stuff that I would say is fun and playful to me. So it is interesting. I mean, it's very interesting coming out of the community classroom where it was very much like an island. I only came out for like supply drops, went right back on the island, right? Swimming out, grabbing it, getting back on shore. Um, I'm I've found a way to get my work done. I haven't found a way to enthusiastically engage in the fun. Yeah. So I am the one that's in the office while all this chatter and joking's going on at the common table. They're having snacks, like they're slapping the table, laughing and talking. Then they'll connect with there's a lot of joy. And there's me over at my desk with my noise canceling headphones, getting work done, planning out my courses, leaving the room if I need to make a phone call. So
You and I we're in the same boat that way. I walk
it
in.
sounds like you crave it though. I don't know. That's what I'm on the fence about. It sounds like I'm not looking for my people. I'm not looking for my people.
I
I,
It's not that I crave it. It's, oh, how do I explain? I mean, I do get a fix. Like if I'm in the office,
Mhm,
uh, and so I'm in the office, I'm walking past my principal's room and he looks up, he's like, "Yo, what's going on?" He's not on the phone, the door's not closed. I'll go in there and we'll gab for 5 minutes and we'll laugh and joke and I get my fix.
mhm.
So I know where to go to get the fix. It's just that it just doesn't exist for me in this space. That's all. Whereas when I've been in an elementary school, in every single elementary school that I've worked in, there's been a group. There's been
Mhm,
a I know where to go for that kind of social refuge. In this building, like I said, I can get a fix, but I have no real people there. I don't have any people there. Does that make sense? Like so then therefore it's more about business than it is about social.
mhm.
I don't know, man. Yeah, like I, I I I don't know. But even I see it in administration when I'm down at the office and I'm walking past and they're all meeting in one of their rooms. They're laughing and like I don't know what's going on in there, but whatever's going on, it's not the police aren't involved because they're all laughing and joking or whatever. It's like I see these pockets of people and how they in that pocket there is room for social. For me, if there is social, it's like it's not planned, it's not part of a group. It's just it's very random. Probably because I'm operating in there are things on my list that I would like to do today. And so I'm in the mode of doing them and may run into somebody and have a social moment. But I don't know, it's different. Maybe on the days that I do crave it, I see it more because I'm like, oh man, I could really talk to somebody about whatever. And then when I walk in the staff room, you see it because in our staff room's divided into two big chunks. One big chunk is wide open where people eat and sit and whatever. Then the other chunk are cubby spaces. So it's like a whole like a labyrinth of chairs and desk spaces where people have their work. So I could picture you in that realm with your headphones on working away, because if you don't have your headphones on, you're not going to get any work done, because there's always people socializing back there as they're sitting next to each other trying to do their work but talking about whatever they're talking about. um, and I'm fortunate that I don't have it. My space is very private. I
Mm.
have like an office that I get to work in, and I'm the only one in there. So when I'm in that room and the door's closed, man, I'm working away. When the door's open, though, it's hard to get anything done because kids are walking past. They poke their head in, say hello if they know me. Staff will see, oh, the door's open. I got to talk to Roland about something. So the door open, nothing gets done. But with the door closed, lots gets done. And sometimes I'm like, oh, I could use a 10-minute chat about this or that, but
Mm.
I don't go seek it out. I'm not walking into somebody's room saying, hey, let's chat. I'm not doing
See,
that.
I think what you got me thinking about this, that my habit of mind of cluffing people, that's how I satisfy it. So it's completely happenstance. Something fascinates me in the moment, I will stay and I will talk about it. But I don't generally think to myself, there's a very short list of people that I crave to be around that I would say um, they're a part of a plan for me. They're a part of a wellness plan. Um, do people get added to the list? Yep. Do get people get pulled from the list? Yes. But I'm also happy. I'm happy to sit in a moment if sometimes even if I don't have the time, if it does catch my attention and fascinate me, I do have, and I think that has led to a bit of a cachet about me. Like sometimes Clough can be too much because a random person will ask me a question and I'm still talking with them 10 minutes later.
You'll go deep.
Yeah, yeah. So for some people, that's interesting. They find it interesting. For others, they're just like, yeah, like I'm off their list. They're like, don't like be really specific with what you need from Clough because it's the same, accusation that I got or slash feedback that I got in interviewing for, jobs. Like you seem to really know a lot about education. Actually do know a lot about education, but can you just answer the question? So, like maybe. No,
Maybe.
no, no, no. I think I answered. I think I gave you an answer that I'm good with. So yeah, kind of funny that. Funny that. Yeah, there's a very short list of people that I would choose to actually, that I would say to myself on any day. I definitely on the drive in have never said to myself, like, I'm looking forward to hanging with somebody at work.
That's the same with me.
There
Um,
was one. I remember me telling about Stefano. No, there's not one.
no.
There probably have been people, but I think I told you that I was at the one school and was doing walking with Stefano Thursday mornings. He was the VP. I said, "Can I shadow you?"
Oh,
And he's
yes,
like,
I
"Yeah,
remember
sure."
about that.
And
Yeah.
I was taking my prep, and he let me sit in on the meetings, and but he was, we were we were we were quite simpatico in our mindsets and our conversations. So it was a good vibe that way.
That's good. Yeah, for sure. I don't have that. I don't drive to work thinking I'm going to check in with so and so. It's going to be fun. I get there thinking, what's what are the predictables that I need to get under control right
Yeah,
away? And then so that's the thing. So this fun craft dinner thing, I was pulling into work thinking about that, thinking, oh, this is going to be funny. This is going to be a good one today. Um,
I
yeah,
agree. I think it puts you in present moment in a way that other people don't. I think for me to map out what's going to actually give me joy in the day to a degree means that I'm trying to make it happen. And the things that I often try to make happen don't bring me joy. They're the kind of the moments, random moments that the universe just kind of puts in front of you. So, hmm.
anything else we want to chat about today?
I would put the question out to I would put the question out maybe to Gary and Rochelle if they're still kicking. Do you go to work? Do you get in the car and think to yourself, I see it's kind of funny to say this because I don't know if many people, maybe some people do. They're looking forward to see their work bestie or whatever, right? Um, are you more of a in the moment, just kind of picking up on the joy? Or are you, no, I'm making sure that I go to that room to have lunch with my friend because I know it makes a difference? Or are you a blend? For me, I'm entirely happenstance. I have no place for socializing or social connection. I think to myself, like when I really notice it, that like, yeah, like my happiness at work is dependent on me having lunch in this room or meeting up with this person. I don't. I would say the closest thing I have to that at work is just knowing that I get to see my kids at the end of the day because they often will drive in and drive out with me. So I think I have a bookended sense of that joy going in. It's always great to talk with them and then leaving at the end of the day to see them standing there. It almost becomes my reset gesture. There's my kids. I now am turning into dad. I dropped the teacher side. I'm now dad. Let's go. Let's go grab a coffee. Let's go home, make dinner.
Mm,
So there is a nice, um, like highly visible and highly dynamic transitional tool that takes me out of my teacher mindset. Um, some people would do that with a commute, but it's like a 6 minute commute to our house. So it's the two people that I see at the end of the day, and then of course Karen when I get home when she's home from work. But yeah, I don't think I've ever had that I need to see a certain person for my personal wellness at work, even when I was running restaurants too. There were people lots of people I enjoyed being around, but did I orchestrate it in a way that ensured that it was part of my regimen for the day? No, no.
this reminds me. So a few years ago, when I would do Friday lunches, it was with certain guys,
Hmm.
and I did look forward to that. That was
Hmm.
I can't wait for the Friday lunch. Um,
I remember that.
yes, and that was, man, that was awesome. I don't have that here, and that's okay, but I did have that in my other job, and that was golden. Those Fridays, we and it was um it was a consensus, like we all all of us looked forward to that lunch hour or 40 minutes or whatever it was. Um, that's the last time I had something where I was actually thinking about something other than work.
Mm,
And I like the resets that you're talking about. For me, the resets are the polos after school.
hmm
There's the before school, and then when I get to work, I shut it off, go in, do the job, and then after work, when I get in the car and I turn it on, it's like, okay, I'm leaving work now. And
hmm
sometimes I talk about work in the polos, but
Yep.
it's a nice shift to get me out of that mindset. Rochelle says my happiness at work is being involved. I don't have to leave my room for social connection because my teaching partner and I have a door between our rooms.
hmm
I like that. And then I leave my room to check in on new teachers I'm helping.
hmm Yeah,
That's
that's
awesome.
important. We've talked about that in here. I mean, that kind of falls in the call me if you need me mindset, which is fraught with problems. I would agree. There are in that case, I would say I am checking in for professional wellness reasons. I think that something like that falls into my sense of duty and my sense of mentorship I more so than I feel like I need to have social connection. I feel duty and obligation to help individuals that I perceive are in need. So that's a strong driver for me generally in work to help people. Um, but then to stick around and have a coffee or crack jokes, I'm a little bit more prescriptive. I'm like, okay, I'm going to be back here tomorrow at 3 o'clock. We'll talk then. Fist bump and I'm out. Right. So,
So thanks, Rochelle, for sharing that. We didn't hear from
mhm.
anybody else, which is fine.
Yeah, yeah.
But it would be neat. It would be neat. No pressure, Gary, but it would be neat to hear Gary's perspective only because Gary is still working in the same school that he was teaching in. So it would be
Mm.
neat to see or to hear if there's been a shift from walking in the building as a teacher and going to your room, doing what you do, and walking into the school and going straight to the office and what that entails.
There's a very uh, brightly lit topic that's happening at my school right now, and it's called we went through this work harmony training, and elements of this are behavioral norms. Elements of this are professional decorum norms. Elements of it are here's the legality of you uh, disrupting, dismissing, disrespecting others at work. And there's one other element of, hey, have fun, have fun at work. And there are individuals right now that are really chafed by it because their perception is that every time they try to do something fun, a rule is mentioned and it's no longer fun for them. Now, arguably, some of the things that some colleagues say that are fun, there is an element of risk to it, and there is an element of um, uh, like there's a risk to play, and uh, I get it from an admin's perspective that rules can very quickly, breaking of a rule can very quickly turn into the breaking of the law. And then you have a whole bunch of organizations that are going to be right there to tell you you shouldn't have done this. And now we have to put you into either you're going to be investigated or discipline or conversation, right? Like this can happen so quickly. Always known this, but now I know enough people. I've always suspected, always heard of. I now know enough admin that this causes headaches all the time. So I I I really feel for administrators that feel an obligation to feel like they need to be a part of building social fabric in schools and trying to manage social cohesion as well as coherence so that people kind of get how to do it and that they actually want to sort of be in these groups to do these things, because there is, leadership has that element of um, power and influence. Using that to help people, have nice play dates is really challenging, really challenging. And right now, there are some people at my school that are quite upset that some of the activities that they've done historically, they're now being told you can't do that anymore. And there's no alternative. It's the rule. You can't operate like this anymore. And this is where, the rules are they've been shaved so thin that they're now tripping laws. And it makes it risky or dangerous to operate doing things that way. Um, and we're becoming more litigious this way. Sorry, we are litigious. I won't say becoming, we are litigious. So you break a rule, you could be in a process, by the end of the day, and you're like, what the hell? Um, and emotionally, people are having a hard time with this because they're starting to say things, well, fine, we just won't do anything then. Fine, we just won't. They're being reactive, right? I won't do anything. If I can't play the way I want to play, I'm going to take my ball home. And for some people, they don't recover from that. I feel in some ways I have some inoculation against that because I don't go seeking those type of social interactions. But there are people that arrive at work and they really do. They want to have the lunches with friends. They want to have the teacher competitions. They want to have dodgeball against students. Like they crave this kind of play at work. And as this harmony training is happening, people are starting to question is, well, we've always had fun doing this. Why do we have to stop? Um, but when the rules change, they change because the laws change, and they, culture, uh, culture kind of falls screaming at the side, like, why is this happening? But there's some people at my school right now that are really upset because the culture change is being enforced. And as an administrator, observing that in your staff, you start to lose uh, cohesion in your staff. I would imagine that can be kind of frightening from a leadership perspective.
This is very interesting because as a principal, I think I would really struggle with this, what you're talking about.
I wonder from Gary's perspective, like when you mentioned Gary, that's what I wonder. Like, is this even a part of a mandate yet to sort of play a part in this, play dates? Like, how do you sort of make sure that it's the EDU play dates, right? Like, how do you,
You played it.
yeah, how do you sort of organize that? And I'll tell you, we're done with some sort of engagement activity at the beginning of a staff meeting. Like if that's the best that's happening to raise, my interest, to pique my interest in somebody else in the room as to becoming a potential friend, I know it's not enough for me. And because I'm like, what's the plannable stuff I have to get through today? I got to get through all the plannables. I got to get through all the predictables. So please, let's just get this meeting moving.
I like it. Gary's on the go, so we can't force him.
Not
Gary,
a
you need
problem.
to respond.
Drop it into the WhatsApp as well.
Oh
But I
yeah,
am curious whether or not he's sort of had time to include that in his mandate yet, or if it's kind of like that'll be year two, Clough. That'll be year two. I think you're forced to be a part of it because depending on your mid team, there's often already some embedded expectations, as in, yes, we're going to be doing coffee for the staff here. We're going to do, I will say, really fascinating and really unfortunate is that there's still the mindset somehow that admin has to play a parental role and they should be buying stuff for staff out of their own pockets. Because I do know that the budget lines are no longer allowing for these big sort of school based activities that are sudden sort of gifts to the staff. Often these gifts to the staff are coming out of the admin's pockets. And I think that's bullshit. I think it's unfortunate that they're put in that position because it's also something historically now that staff expects. They expect that there will be coffee which is a fine expectation, but I think they do it with impunity that the staff doesn't sort of use their adult brain when they think about where that food might come from and whose wallet it might have been paid for out of. So just managing the social play. I think the risk for admin is that playing an active role in creating, managing, inspiring the staff to become more socially connected to each other at some point means you're shelling out $100 to buy Timbits for the next staff meeting. And that's not right from my observation.
Totally agree. It reminds me of a school I worked at where um, the teachers were talking to the administration saying we're struggling with parental understanding around this idea, this notion in the building. So administration said, I'm willing to buy you guys and gals supper if you're willing to give a couple of hours after school one night. We'll invite the parents in so we can talk about these things that you would like under control. And I'll never forget 10 minutes into the parental uh, meeting, one of the administrators looked at me and said, "Oh my God, I spent $150 for all of you to have dinner, and there's nobody here." And I was like, I was kind of thrown off, and I was like, I don't know what part of this is bothering you. We're all appreciative of the dinner, and don't worry, more parents will come. It's just 10 minutes. They don't see it as like a meeting. I must be there. They see it as, hey, for this hour and a half, the primary division has welcomed you into the building to talk about a particular topic. And then by
Mhm.
the end of it, there were lots of people and stuff. But the look on the administrator's face was like, oh my God, I just gave up 150 of my own dollars. I've taken up all your time, and there's nobody here to, we're all here, but nobody else is here. I was like, relax. I was the voice of reason, that's rare. It's usually the other way around.
Good
But
job.
I was thinking, oh shit, you did pay for dinner. Like you did bring in all this food and you paid for it out of your own pocket. I was very thankful. I ate a lot that night. So I was like, don't worry, it'll get eaten. But I was like, oh, I never thought of that. Like you just dropped your cash for us to eat because you were
Mhm.
happy that we were willing to stay after school. Now you're bothered that you spent your money, our time's being wasted based on your perspective. But it didn't end that way. But now I know, bro, if I were in a leadership interview and they asked me what one of my weaknesses was or areas of improvement, I'd say the social aspect, the social component of leadership, if you want to call it that. You might not agree, but I'm not very I'm not the one that's going to plan the staff breakfast and the thing at lunch with the staff and this and that. Like my brain is on the job, but it should also be on the people. And how do we make sure that the people, what can I do to help the people feel good about the work that they're doing? I don't know. That's a component for me that I need to consider, I guess.
Mhm.
Anyway, anything else?
I think that's it, dude.
Okay, well, this was certainly longer than the episode where we came in and came out. This was season 9, episode 11, number 359. Thanks for joining
Nice.
us, Gary and Rochelle, and whoever else listened. We'll catch you all later.
Peace, man.
See ya.